In 2007, an NBA scandal took place where they was known for fixing games. In fact, it was a referee involved in fixing games because he liked gambling on basketball games. In fact, okay, Google, tell me about the 2007 NBA scandal.
According to Wikipedia, the 2007 NBA betting scandal was a scandal involving the National Basketball Association and accusations that an NBA referee used his knowledge of relationships between referees, coaches, players, and owners to bet on professional basketball games.
And why I'm bringing this up is it was a gentleman, Michael Jordan. I always disputed he was the greatest player. Why? Is because a lot of the games he played in was fixed. In fact, he was known for gambling with basketball as well. So, what I started thinking about is when you watch a basketball game, like me, I love basketball. So, when I watch basketball, I want to make sure the players are really playing. That when I'm watching it, I'm actually watching a good basketball game. But that's not taking place now. When you look at basketball now, you can tell basketball is fixed. They already know the outcome, who's going to win. But what happened is people don't talk about it. So that's why it's important we got to talk about what's wrong with NBA players. Who's really the greatest player, best basketball player? We want to know. But we can't really know if guys are fixing games. So that's just something to think about. And that's my favorite sport, basketball. And it's been arguments who's the greatest basketball players with different areas. Basketball was played the best. Okay, I got to give you my age so you'll understand where I'm coming from. I'm 45 years old. I was born in 1975. And why I'm saying that is because I've seen basketball in its purest form. Now I'm looking at basketball now, and it's not that way. It's totally different. It's a totally different game. When I was watching basketball in the 80s, even in the 90s, basketball was more physical. In fact, Detroit Pistons, when they had Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Vinnie Johnson, Mark McGuire, when those guys played basketball, it was a physical game. When the Boston Celtics played basketball, it was real physical. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, those guys played basketball. Magic Johnson, James Worthy. People don't even talk about how good James Worthy was. Then we got to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to me is the greatest player that ever played because he won everywhere he went. When he went to college, he won in UCLA, he won in high school, he won in the NBA, he won with the Milwaukee Bucks, won with the Lakers. That's a big deal. That's a big difference. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. Do not own a pair of Jordans. It's not gonna happen. I'm from Detroit. Detroit fan. If you talk about the greatest point guard that they don't ever mention, Isaiah Thomas. The man was good. He was a great basketball player. You could say that's my opinion, but the man was good. He won 3 championships. So that's important. Wait, let me take that just to make sure. Okay, Google. How many championships did Isaiah Thomas win from the Detroit Pistons?
Isaiah Thomas hasn't won any championships.
Okay, he must be talking about the other Isaiah Thomas. Okay, Google. How many championships do the Detroit Pistons have?
the Detroit Pistons have won an all-time total of 3 championships in 1989, 1990, and 2004.
Okay, so 1989 and 1990, that's when Isaiah Thomas won his championships. 2004, that's Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace. That's when they won championships. I want to make sure I'm accurate when I'm telling you information. Now, when I look at Michael Jordan, the problem I have with Michael Jordan is when the Pistons won their 2 championships in 89 and 90, he complained. They got rid of hand checking. People don't understand how important hand checking was in the game. Now you get rid of hand checking. If you look at the NBA today and you look how basketball is played, everybody's shooting 3-pointers. Nobody playing defense. I haven't seen defense in the game in over 12 to 13 years. And this just might be my opinion, but it's not the same. It's not as physical. It's not a physical game anymore. So now, when you play basketball, it's watered down. Now because of the pandemic, they just made it where you're not even playing as many games. Now you're playing like 72 games. So it's not the same. It's not the same sport. It's not the same game. And we're not even talking about 2007, how basketball was fixed. They fixed basketball. Can you imagine? You think you're watching a pure game and the game has been fixed? The referees is getting involved, calling all kind of calls. That changes the game. I remember when the Pistons lost to the Chicago Bulls and they got swept. The referees called so many calls, it changed the game. I mean, it's a lot of games. I mean, look when 1998, Utah played Chicago. You gonna buy a Chicago Bulls jersey or Michael Jordan jersey, or you gonna buy a Utah Jazz jersey? Money is involved. Politics is involved when it comes to playing the sport of basketball now. And that changes the game. It's not the same. And that gives you something to think about. In honesty, I think you should be honest in all things. So if I'm sitting up watching sports, if you're going to referee the game, you should be honest about it. It's a big deal. So that's just something to give you to think about. When you talk about sports, when you talk about how great basketball is now, look at how much it changed. It's not the same sport. It's not the same thing. So that's what I think about. I mean, when I want to watch a game, I want to be entertained by a real game, not something where I'm going to know the outcome. I mean, if you're going to know the outcome, if you're going to know who wins, I mean, I might as well watch wrestling. You know, because wrestling, you already know it's not real. So you already know there's gimmicks and everything. And that's how basketball has become. Now there's advertisement in the jerseys. It's not the same game. Who want to buy a jersey with advertised on it? You got Starbucks on your jersey now. That don't make no sense. But what do I know? I just wish they would keep the game pure, how it used to be. Let's give you something to think about.